Well, hello, YouTube. How are you guys doing today? Myself, doing actually pretty good. Had a gorgeous day here in the city. Wonderful temperatures for early November. Can't complain. So, if you're here to see what I've been working on. I am going to let you know that the socks I showed last week, the burgundy pair that I was working on two at a time, toe up on my circulars, I have not added anything new to them. They are still at the point to add the heel. Reason I haven't gotten to the heel yet is because I also have another set of socks. I started, oh boy, a while ago, and then I had to redo the one, and so I finally bit the bullet, and I decided, okay, let's get that sock going. Now, when I showed it last week, I had the toe done, and I think I just finished doing the third round of the foot. Well, I have put a lot of time into this sock, actually on Halloween, so last week on Halloween, because I was involved in a bingo hop and I worked on it like crazy, and now I'm at the point of the heel. Like where the stitch marker is where I was last week when I showed this sock last Wednesday. And then I've done the rest of the foot part. So I am at the point to add the heel. Now, the heel I like to use is called, I want to say mock shadow wrap heel, I believe, or it's a mock, yeah, I believe it's a mock shadow wrap heel. These are kind of like my project for when I don't have anything else on the go, and that's kind of why I started the burgundy pair originally, because I was done everything I had planned for the month of October. Oh, I am so sorry about that noise. If you guys can hear it, balconies, many floors up from me are getting redone. So that's how far I've gotten on the socks that I'm currently working on. Now, I have learned a new trick. I don't know for all those out there who may know. If you give me one moment, I am going to share my screen, which I love this new trick I've learned. Let's go share. Yep, those are the ones I want to share. These are a pair of socks I have made. Oh boy. Back in 2016, I think it was, roughly. Now they are a crocheted sock. It is made with a sock yarn. I know the heel I learned from Mikey over at the Crochet Crowd. The rest of the sock, I'm not 100% sure of the pattern. Same with all the yarns. Unfortunately, I'm not very good at keeping track of what yarn I used for what project, or I've had so much yarn that's been given to me over the past and no labels with them. So I do know it's a sock yarn, that much I can remember. But to be honest with you, I don't even know if I still have the label for these socks, but they are crocheted. I think they're just a standard single crochet done in a round. And then the heel was put in. Actually, I think the heel, when you got to it, you actually did a chain part. So you had the heel opening and the heel was done after the sock was made. So there are those pair of socks. Then my very first pair of knitted socks I have ever made. I call these my house socks just because I know for a fact 100% the yarn I used is not meant for socks. These were made back in 2018, I believe it was, my very first pair of knitted socks. These ones I know were done on DPNs, and they were done cuff down. Now, the cuff, heel, and toe, as you can tell, do not match. Even the heel on the one sock here has a very lighter shade blue on the lower half of the heel flap and the gusset area, where this other one, it's all the same shade of blue. The one that's got a bit of the orange, white, and green at the top of the cuff. The other one's on the toe. I think they're kind of cute. I like them. I didn't mind working this type of heel, but I'm not a fan of it really. I didn't mind doing them. but I'm not a fan of them. I don't like the way they fit on my feet, like the heel feels and wraps around my heel. I do understand the concept of this type of flap because it makes it thicker. It's supposedly a little more durable, especially for when you slide your foot in and out of your shoes or your boots or whatever. I myself am not a fan of them. For those who are, keep doing them. I don't think I'll ever use this style again, to be honest with you. But you never know. I may come across a pattern I really, really want to make, and it may be with this heel. So don't say never, right? So the other pair of socks I knitted myself. These are my very first pair I did with the heel that I was referring to that I'm going to use. These ones are toe up. These ones I know for sure I did them on a circular needle with the magic loop. I think these were done one sock at a time, but I cannot recall. And as you can see here where the green and yellow and orange meet, yes, both socks are a little holy. I should have kind of went in with a tapestry needle and, tightened it up a little, but it was my first time doing my socks this way. When I look at the pink socks that I'm currently working on, when I look at the first one I did, that problem, I've resolved it. So I'm quite happy with these socks. These socks took me 2 attempts, and I will let you know this version that you're looking at right now is the first attempt. And the mistake I made on these had to have been two at a time, I think, now that I'm thinking of it, because I made the same mistake on both of them, which was my bind off. They were done way, way, way too tight. Way too tight. I kind of wish I'd done like, I know there's a word for it. It's more or less like a safety line throughout, so that if I had to rip them back, I don't have to rip them back to that point. There is a word for it. I wish I could tell you what it is. I don't remember, but I kind of wish I'd put it in, like probably maybe a row before I started the cuffs. And then when I did the cuff and bound off, tried them on and realized, mistake kind of thing, and gone back to that cord or the string or whatever I may have put through it, so it was easier to pick up my stitches. Now I do know this yarn. I won this yarn, and it is sock yarn. That much I can tell you. From over at I want to say Gina or Tina at Turnpike. She doesn't do much on YouTube much anymore, I've noticed. Not, at least not as much as she used to. But I did win this yarn from her way back when. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I made a mistake on the ankles. When it comes to knitting, I've never been good at picking up, like frogging it back to a point and picking up stitches. So I frogged, honestly, both socks right down to nothing. And then I reballed it and remade them in the second version I made, which I did not copy and paste the photo for that one. One sock striped the way these ones are, the other one striped in reversed. And then I ended up having a knot in the yarn, or some issues with the yarn, and I had a few tie-ins for some reason. I really couldn't tell you why. I don't know. And then they fit okay. The heel or the cuff, I looked online how to do the cuffs better. I was able to do the cuff proper, so there was a bit of stretch to it. I wore them once or twice, and then the one time in the wash, they decided to fall apart. I think it's because the yarn was a little overworked. I don't know. So I no longer have these socks. I did enjoy them. I enjoyed working on them. I really wish this version here you're looking at on the screen I did properly, but lesson learned, right? So those are some socks I have made for myself, and I'm currently working on more. I honestly do see why people that love making socks love making socks. They are so much fun. But like I said, I prefer doing the toe up, and if I'm able to do both, like the whole set at one time, so 2 at a time socks. So we are going to stop sharing that. If I can remember how, there we go. I have to think for a minute what I was doing. So what else am I working on? Well, for the creator spotlight, I've made two. I'm on my second item right now, but this the first item you'll see tomorrow. And I'm the spotlight creator for the month. Unfortunately, I did not write her down. I've really got to get better at doing that. She shows you some really neat stitches. Now, this stitch I have done before, and I'm going to show you a project in a moment. But this is called a Celtic knot stitch. And I'm going to try and stretch it out a little so you can see it, because unfortunately it's hard to see otherwise. But here you go. I'm hoping you guys can see the crisscross stitching. But I am doing it in the round. Now, I know the video that I saw this from, doing it in a round, she didn't get into great details as to how many stitches and such like that. So if you're going to do it in the round, or even, well, yeah, more so in the round, you've got to do it multiples of 4. And like I said, I have done this stitch before, so I kind of know what I'm doing. Now, the yarn I'm using is from Erin also, that I had won from her. And it's the Twist Altine. I'm not sure. It's Turkish. I can tell you that much. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce it. There's the yarn band. The yarn band does not tell you the weight of this yarn, not that I've ever noticed. To me, it is a very thick 4 to possibly a 5 weight. It is a twisted yarn. I've made a few things with this now. This is all I have left. So however far this gets me for this bag is the size the bag's going to be. This is the second skein. But it's a neat stitch. And I'm just going to make like a project bag with it. Now, another item I have made with that stitch. If you give me one moment here to share my screen. Yep, back to the socks I just showed you. And then ignore all the hats. I'm going to show those off tomorrow. I made this blanket. And let me go back here. In this middle section here, actually you can't see it, but in the middle section, I hope you guys can see it. I did the same stitch in the flat. The blanket, oh my goodness, I made that years ago. I want to say almost 10 years ago now. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking 10 years ago. Beautiful stitch. I love it. But be very, very, very prepared for it to be a yarn guzzler. It doesn't matter if you're doing it in the round or if you're doing it in the flat. It eats up a lot of yarn because the crisscrosses are done in treble crochet. I had to think for a moment there what stitch. So US terms, it's a treble. So it uses a lot of yarn, but it's a very fun stitch. If you get a chance to sit and play and tinker with it, go for it, especially if you've never used it before. And like I said, it's called the Celtic Cross. So you can always look it up on YouTube. I'm sure there's multiple tutorials out there. So yeah, that right now is what I'm working on. Oh, the bag. Sorry about that. Let's stop sharing again. I'm new at this, but I'm loving it. So again, the bag. Like I said, the yarn is from Erin. I won it from her for one of her spotlight participations I took part in. This bag is also, like I said, for this month's spotlight. And like I said, I've already made a hat from the creator. And then my third project I'm going to make from her, I don't yet know what it is. I think once I get done the skein, I have this off-white color, which I think will pair really well. And the yarn, it's not the same yarn, but it's about the same thickness. It might be a little thinner, even though it says it's a worsted yarn. I know it's a Michael's basic worsted yarn, but it's on the thicker side, in my opinion, compared to like a Burnett basic worsted yarn. And I think it will make for a nice top on the bag, which I'm just going to do, I don't know, 2 or 3 rounds maybe of a single crochet and then figure out what kind of straps to put on it. I kind of now, seeing how far one ball got me, kind of wish maybe I'd gone 8 more stitches wider. But it's a good size bag. I do like it. And again, like I said, here's the stitches. Hope you guys can see the crossing. It's time consuming. And like I said, because the yarn is a little on the thicker side, I know I'm using a 5mm crochet hook. I probably could have gone up to a 6 because it is a little stiff, but with a bag, you want it durable. You know, you want to make sure it's going to last. But I find it stiff on my, more so my left wrist, which is the one I hold my yarn in. And I can't work on it for a great length of time before, you know, my wrist starts to hurt and I got to put it down. But those are what I'm working on right now. Nothing else on the go, just the socks, which are on hold. They're, like I said, a filler project when I'm not working on anything else. So right now I am kind of focusing on the creator spotlights. And then I have a few other make-alongs that I participate in and got to figure out what I'm going to make for those. So everyone have a great day. If you watch this to the end, I do have bingo this evening, hopefully for 6 o'clock Eastern time. We're playing 10 number 90 balls. So if you want to come over and check it out, please stop on in. Anyways, guys, have a great day, and I will see you all soon. Bye for now.